guys, Meredith with ExtremeTerrain.com, and today we are checking out the Borla Attack True Dual Same Side Exit Exhaust System with the black tips fitting all 2022 and newer Toyota Tundras. If you want to take the look and sound of your factory system up a couple notches with a sporty looking and pretty rowdy system, this is going to be right up your alley. As you heard, this will be one of the louder systems in the category, which is why this gets a 4 out of 5 on the loudness meter, with 1 being stock and 5 being wake the neighbors loud. While this will be aggressive with a good amount of volume for the Tundra owner who's looking to up the ante, this will have a quality tone to it with no production of drone, so you'll hear the exhaust inside the cab when you hit the gas, but it's going to be comfortable and low key while you're cruising, which is great, especially if you're daily driving your Tundra. The most standout feature of this system has to be the sound level, which is much more aggressive than most systems, and that's thanks to the true dual design, the high flow X-pipe, and the Attack mufflers. The design frees up a good amount of restriction compared to factory, and with the additional piping and intentional design with Borla's polyphonic harmonizer technology, it will allow those rich and deeper tones at a higher volume level while eliminating that drone in the meantime. On top of that, while this isn't typically a power mod alone, this high flow system paired with the twin turbo V6 will help increase your performance and be a great supporting modification if you are looking for a boost in your power numbers. I also can't forget about the appearance, which will also benefit your truck with a sporty side dual exit and those sleek black tips on the end for a much more stylish look compared to the boring stock system. This has a high quality and well thought out design with a 2.5-inch true dual system from front to back, in addition to a merge X-pipe, which compared to the factory system will drastically increase the flow and smoothen the flow of the air, resulting in better performance. The system is also CNC machined for an accurate fit according to Borla, and will have a tapered factory style hanger system to it, so you're not going to have any question when it comes to install. The material being used here is arguably the best benefit out of this system, being a complete T304 stainless steel, including the dual 4.5-inch tips, making sure that the build integrity of this system stays true for years to come and will outlast any condition that you live in. This will be a more expensive choice at about $2,000. Now, while this is pricey, it has a build with a specific intention, which is to achieve that aggressive sound level with no drone, while also having a solid build to maintain that sound for literally the lifetime of your truck. I think if you're looking to invest in your exhaust system and want one that will non-stop turn heads for wherever you're taking your Tundra, then this is going to be a great pick. Install here will be a 2 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter and should only take you about 2 hours to get the job done with the right tools and setup. At this point though, we can head over to our shop and check out a detailed breakdown on how to get this onto your new Tundra at home. So that is going to wrap it up for my review. Let's go ahead and get into the install.
The tools you'll need for this project are an impact gun or a ratchet, a long extension, a swivel joint, a 14 and a 15 millimeter socket, a 15 millimeter wrench, a pair of exhaust hanger removal pliers, and a torque wrench. Hi everyone, today we're installing exhaust on our Tundra, but first let's watch a short video on how to uninstall the stock exhaust.
All right, so the first step is we're going to remove our tailpipe first. So we're going to take these 2 bolts and we're going to remove them with a swivel socket and a 14 millimeter socket. Now once your 2 nuts are removed, we're going to remove these 2 hangers on before the axle and after the axle. So now we're going to remove the hanger that's before the axle. So we're going to take our hanger removal tool. We're going to squeeze this isolator out of the hanger. Now we're going to remove our second hanger here. Take our removal tool, pry that out. Make sure you hold up that exhaust. Now from here, you're going to pull this out. All right, so next step, we're going to be removing the 2 flanges by the cats. So we're going to have to take an extension with a swivel socket and a 14 millimeter socket. And we're going to remove these 2 bolts on each side. So now we're going to remove these 2 bolts with our 14mm socket. Now you can repeat that process on the other side. So now we're going to take the hanger removal tool and remove these 2 isolators. And a good idea is to have a pull jack up to hold up your exhaust once these are removed. Now we can move on to the other side of the muffler to remove our other hanger. Now we're going to remove our last hanger. Make sure you hold this side up. So now we're going to remove our exhaust system. I'm going to lower down this pull jack here. I'm going to pull back. Remove our pull jack. And now your exhaust is fully uninstalled.
All right, first thing we're going to do on our install is the driver's side front pipe with the flange on it. And when you install this, you want to make sure that when you put this up, that this angle on the first one here goes in towards the drive shaft. So we'll go ahead and put this up into place. Then we'll install one of the bolts with the spring from the original install. All right, now it's a little difficult to get in here because of this cross member here, but you'll know where it goes in from when you took out the original. So we'll put our bolt and our spring in, and we'll attach our nut to the back side. Now you may have to compress that spring a little bit in order to be able to get the nut on. Now we can go ahead and install the second one in the same manner. And we'll do the same thing, slightly compress the spring. We'll install the nut from the other side. And then we can just leave that loose for now. Now we can install the passenger side front pipe, and you'll know it's the passenger side front pipe because there is a sticker on here with an R on it for the right side, which means passenger. Now we'll install this using the original hardware as well. So we'll just place this up into place and go ahead and install our bolts. We'll install one of our bolts here. And we'll install the second one. And now we'll just let that hang for a second. All right, now we're ready to install our X pipe. And to do that, we're going to slide our clamps over the expanded end of the X pipe away from the hangers on the back. And then we're going to go ahead and install our hangers into the isolators above, and then we can install the front pipe into the X pipe. We'll slide our hangers into the isolators above. And then we can go ahead and put our front pipes into our X pipe. And when you insert your front pipes into your X pipe, you want to make sure that it pretty much goes all the way back to the expanded area here. That way when we clamp it up later, we'll have a good tight seal. All right, now we're going to go ahead and install 2 clamps onto our muffler here. And you want to make sure that the clamps go on the end with the slots on the muffler. And I usually like to put them so that the bolts are on the outside That way there's no interference with each other. And once you've got the clamps on, we can go ahead and slide our muffler onto our X-pipe. And again, you want to make sure that your muffler is fully seated against your X-pipe. Now we're going to install our right hand or passenger side over the axle pipe. We're going to slide a clamp over the expanded end. Then we're going to install our hanger into the isolator on the closest to the drive shaft, and then slip the over the axle pipe over the muffler. And again, make sure that it seats all the way in. Now we can install the driver's side over axle pipe. Now we'll go ahead and install our over the axle pipe over the axle, slide the hanger into the isolator closest to the drive shaft, making sure, of course, that we have our clamp already on the pipe. And now we can go ahead and slip this over our muffler outlet. Again, make sure that it's seated all the way in. Now we can do the driver's side. All right, now we'll slide a clamp over our driver's side, over the axle pipe, and we'll put this over the axle, slide our hanger into our isolator, and then slide our pipe over our other outlet on a muffler. All right, so now we can go ahead and slide our clamps over our tailpipes. And then we'll slide our hanger into our rear isolator here, and then we'll slip our tailpipe over the axle pipe. We'll slide our hanger into the isolator, and now we can go ahead and slide our tailpipes over the axle pipes. We'll go ahead and make sure they're seated. Now that we've got our system completely installed, we can go back and double check all of our clearances, make sure that there's no interference with any of the suspension or frame or wiring or anything like that, and then start tightening everything down, starting at the front. So we'll go ahead and tighten down the bolts on the flange first, then we'll snug up all of the clamps, and then we'll torque them down to the manufacturer's recommended specification of 35 foot-pounds. All right, now we're going to start by tightening down our flange bolts on the driver's side and the passenger side. And for the driver's side, we'll be using our 14mm socket and a 15mm wrench to hold the nuts on the other side. Now we'll get the ones on the passenger side. Now, as far as our clamps are concerned, we're just going to go ahead and snug them up with our 15mm socket all the way back, and then once we get them all snugged up, then we'll go ahead and torque down the clamps to the recommended 35 foot-pounds. And now you can repeat that process all the way back. Now that we've got everything snugged up, we go ahead and get our torque wrench with our 15mm socket and tighten everything down to 35 foot-pounds. All right, and you can follow that procedure for all the rest of the clamps. All right, now that we've got our system completely installed and torqued down to manufacturer's specs, before you fire it up, I do recommend that you use a clean cloth and some rubbing alcohol and just go back and wipe down the entire exhaust system, especially any polished pieces. That way it'll remove any grease or oil or dirt that may have gotten on the system during installation, and it will prevent it from burning into the system once you get it up to temperature. And that wraps up our review and install of the Borla Attack True Dual Exhaust System with black tips, same side exit for your 22 to 24 Tundra. Thanks for watching, and remember, for all things Tundra, keep it right here at ExtremeTerrain.com.